I've been thinking about making a video on something called progressive entrapment, which, if you don't know, is, or at least what I'm talking about, it could be a legal thing as well, I don't know, is when somebody's using a Ouija board and they're using it on their own and they're using it more and more and more all the time, and it's because, in this case that I'm talking about, you can argue about this if you want in the comment section, but when something demonic contacts somebody on a Ouija board, that's me tapping the table with a pencil, by the way, in case you're wondering. It happened in the case that inspired The Exorcist, this as well, so I'll explain it from that point of view. The little boy had been playing with a Ouija board with his grandma. I can't remember the names. If I do another video, I'll look into it and find out what the names were. But he'd been playing on the Ouija board because they were marketed as a toy years ago, with his grandma, and then his grandma died. But then he carried on playing on the Ouija board, and he thought he'd made contact with her after she died. But it wasn't her, it was a demon. And it was getting him to use it more and more, and like at first it was doing things that could be considered to be helpful. Like I said, I can't remember the details of the case. I'll go and find out and talk about that more another time. I wasn't specifically going to talk about that one case, but so anyway, getting back to it. It was doing things that could be considered helpful, but then over time it was getting darker and darker, the way that it was being with this boy, until eventually it possessed him. And that's because, if you look at it like this, the board is the portal that they're talking through, but what they ultimately want to do, demons want to do, is make the person into the portal so that they can then possess them. And that's why I certainly will never use a Ouija board ever again. I did play with one a little bit when I was a teenager, but I wouldn't do it now, and I would definitely recommend that you don't do it, and especially not on your own. That would be the worst idea possible. But I mean, I wouldn't do it anyway, even with a group of people. I don't think it's a good idea. It's not a good idea, in fact. You're opening the door. It says in the Bible, open the door, and well, sorry that I'm misquoting it, but basically, if you open the door, you're letting something come in, aren't you? You're inviting it in. And once you've invited it in, what are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of it? Especially if you're, for example, somebody that's not, that's an atheist, for example. I mean, I don't know why an atheist would play with a Ouija board anyway, to be honest with you, but people who say they are atheists probably do play with Ouija boards. But I'm just saying this, think about what you're doing. If you want me to make that video I just mentioned, or to try to make that video, then I will do. If you let me know in the comment section, I probably will do anyway. I just never seem to have any free time. Well, it's partly my fault as well. I'm playing on the Xbox and things like that. I'll try and make time then, is what I really mean. But yeah, you could look it up yourself if you wanted to. The case that inspired The Exorcist. It's interesting. If you've got The Exorcist on DVD, I think there's actually a documentary on there. There is on mine. It's called The Fear of God, but you can probably find it on YouTube as well. That's interesting. It's about the making of The Exorcist, and from the book to the film and all that. So you could go and look at that if you wanted to. There's a lot of information on that you might not be aware of. But anyway, like I said, it's just a short video. It's just a thought I've had. I could make that video, and I've got one or two other ideas that I'm still rolling around in the back of my mind at the moment. So, but if anybody has any suggestions, then for things I could make videos on, then let me know, because it would help me out more than you know. But other than that, thanks for watching, and bye for now.